Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the Brothers Grimm tale with the magic mirror and the poisoned apple. You know the one? Well, it's coming to the big screen again, folks. Will we see this movie go in a different, maybe darker direction, like we've seen from a number of other remade fairy tales? We can't wait to find out. Stay tuned, because today we're discussing everything we know about the upcoming movie. First up, what do we know about the cast? Mirror, mirror on the wall, who will play the Snow White role? Well, we can reveal that American actress and singer Rachel Zegler has been cast as the fairy tale princess. Zegler, who portrays Maria in Spielberg's take on West Side Story, was born and raised in New Jersey. Not a lot is known about the breakout star, and it represents a big risk by the studio to put so much faith in a relative unknown. The movie director was quoted as saying, "Her strength, intelligence, and optimism will become an integral part of rediscovering the joy in this classic Disney fairy tale." It has also been revealed this week that Israeli star Gal Gadot will appear as the evil queen. The news came after Wonder Woman herself stepped out onto the red carpet to promote new movie Red Notice, an action comedy starring Gadot and movie royalty Ryan Reynolds, and The Rock, no less. What do you think about the casting so far? Are you happy with Zegler and Gadot? Who would make good dwarfs? Let us know below. So, can we expect any new music? Stay with us to find out. As we know, music played a huge part in the original 1937 version of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and we can reveal that next year's installment will have completely new music, written especially for the movie. Pretty cool, right? We now know that the original soundtrack will be composed mainly by Benj, Pasek and Paul, an American songwriting duo known for scoring mega hit La La Land. So what else do we know about them? Well, they both graduated from the University of Michigan in 2007 after studying musical theater. It's good to see people actually working in their area of study, which doesn't happen too often. Are you working in a field related to your degree? Let us know in the comments. The pair started their movie career by writing 5 songs for the 2016 movie Tom and Jerry Back to Oz. They have also scored movies such as Aladdin and The Greatest Showman. It's safe to say they are experienced in the fairy tale musical genre then, and it seems like they could have a big career ahead of them. When can we expect the latest Snow White movie to hit our screens? Stay tuned. This one has actually been in the works for about 5 years now, so you could say it's been a long time coming. We do know, however, that filming is set to take place in the UK after being moved from Vancouver due to complications caused by the pandemic, and won't actually begin until March of next year. So it could easily be a year or so before we see one of our favorite Disney princesses return to the big screen. So, who's directing? It has been revealed that 47-year-old director Marc Webb will direct Zegler and Gadot in the live-action remake. Webb first shot to fame after his smash hit movie 500 Days of Summer arrived on our screens in 2009. Earmarked as a rising star in the movie game, Webb also boasts 2012 comic book caper, The Amazing Spider-Man, and its 2014 sequel in his portfolio. He doesn't just stick to one genre, however, and has also directed the drama films Gifted and The Only Living Boy in New York, which both came out in 2017. Fans of hit NBC comedy The Office might be surprised to learn that Webb also directed an episode of the show back in season 6 in 2010. What are the odds of casting Dwight as a dwarf? We think he'd make a great Grumpy. So what's this one going to be about? Stay where you are to find out. As well as the original storyline, we all know it. Snow White heads off into the forest with a queen's servant and huntsman after being tricked by the queen. There, the two bumbling would-be murderers eventually cannot bring themselves to commit the grisly crime and let her go. From there, there's a poison apple and little people, and, well, you know how it goes. So what about the new one? Well, apparently the movie is going to feature a bit of an expanded backstory in which we are led to believe we will delve more into the main characters and what led to them ending up here. Pretty exciting, right? Will you be watching the new one? Who are you most looking forward to learning more about? And what about a trailer? Not just yet. But bear in mind, filming has not even started yet, so it'd be difficult to cut a trailer without any dailies, or even any actors. The final cast list hasn't even been put together yet, so hold your horses just a little. We're going back a bit now, talking about Walt Disney himself, so stay with us. A documentary movie about the trials and tribulations of being Walt Disney has given us an insight into what it was like bringing the character of Snow White to life. Back in 1937, Snow White hit the silver screen to critical acclaim. One of the world's best-loved fairy tales came to life. Initially, though, Disney struggled to get his vision across. One night, he paid for his crew to get dinner across the street. When they returned, Walt Disney himself was stood alone on stage, and for the next few hours, they watched in silence as he methodically acted out his whole idea of how the movie would go down. They say there's a fine line between genius and madness, right? From here, Disney announced to the whole team that they would be turning the Brothers Grimm fairy tale into an animated, now classic movie. It is said that during the performance, he performed the personality and voice of each different character, how he imagined it. I mean, there's dedication, and then there's this, right? Having spent the past few years working on animated short films, the time was perfect for the Disney team to take a crack at the big screen, and we're glad they did. It must have been a little bit surreal watching this guy up there on stage, acting out the whole movie, switching between each character. Do you think they kept a straight face, or were just in awe? So how was the original made back then? Walt's brother Roy actually held the position of financial manager with the company at the time, and he was a notorious critic of the idea of an animated version of the Grimm brothers fairy tale. Media criticism went even further, labeling the project a folly on numerous occasions. Little did they know that kids would still be watching the movie over 80 years later. Disney plowed on though. He wouldn't tolerate any half measures and demanded nothing but perfection from his team. He also brought in live animals for a stronger sense of realism and had the actors mimic the personalities he had envisioned for the characters in front of the animators. I mean, the level of detail this guy went to was amazing. Hopefully, Webb can create a similar level of dedication during the filming of the next version, but maybe without the next bit. In another quite bizarre motivational technique, Disney would throw objects through windows and watch them shatter to prepare for the more dramatic scenes. Remember that fine line we mentioned earlier? Where are we up to with the Snow White franchise then? So far, this will be feature movie number 2, but there are plenty of other times Snow White has appeared in popular culture. There have been 4 TV series in which she delights us with her presence, 3 directed TV movies, and also a comic strip, not to mention the 4 short films. Our favorite princess has also been portrayed on Broadway. Some fans have questioned the need to go over an old story, citing the fact that everyone knows the outcome and the production budget might be best spent elsewhere. What are your thoughts on another version of the classic tale? Let us know in the comments section below. And finally, we're discussing what else Disney has in the works in the next year or so. The very next release for Disney sees the 6th movie in the Home Alone series just in time for Christmas. Someone in marketing knows what they're doing, with The Office's Ellie Kemper and Rob Delaney as parents and Archie Yates starring. We will be interested to see how this one plays out. We loved the original. How about you? The next one out is Encanto towards the end of the month. This one tells the story of the Madrigals, who live in a magical house in the hidden mountains of Colombia. Sounds great! Next spring, we'll deliver Turning Red to our screens, featuring Mei Lee, a young girl going through adolescence who is torn between staying with her mom's obedient daughter and the rigors of being a teenager. Which one are you most looking forward to seeing? Let us know below. As always, thanks for tuning in, and remember to join us next time. Adios, amigos!